Hey all you awesome fans, welcome back to Dawn of Titans with DVR. Today, I've got a special announcement. You guys will be excited about this. So thanks to NaturalMotion, I have early access to the next Dawn of Titans update. Now NaturalMotion's team, of course, is going to do their own walkthrough on the 16th, but look out for my video on the update and its features coming on the 15th. I'm just going to slip it in there right before them. So exciting stuff to look forward to there. Now check this out. Today we are talking about something that's been requested. People have been asking this for quite some time, and I made a video about defensive spells and how to deal with them when we came out originally, when NaturalMotion threw in the Meteor Strike spell, right? They gave me a little promo video for it and we took a look at it, and then when it finally came out I was like, this is how you can try and dodge it. But as we all know, for ranged units it's kind of a nightmare. So I thought I would do a video specifically on defensive spells, not only Meteor Strike, but also on the other spells that are commonly used. And I'll also put my thoughts on what I think are the best defensive spells as a defender, okay? So we'll do both. But I have here some of the best things I looked at through the ages of playing. So I'm gonna go to those first because they were pretty stellar videos. So let's jump on over here. All right, so we got here 100,000 defense rated. We got a Freya on defense. We got range units, Meteor Strike, and Terror. Okay, and this is a decent Freya. Probably with across the board. Looks like at least she's got ice defense, and we don't know what those dragon helms are. Probably physical, right? So I'm gonna hit her with physical. Who the heck cares if she's got the defense? I can handle it. And I've got a different mentality that now that I'm using Grimwald, right? So it'll be a little different maybe than your playstyle, but the idea is similar. Now, you'll notice this. High-level players are typically using Terror and they're using Meteor Strike, right? Because Meteor Strike really dampens down the ability for you to use the ball-up method, because one hit on that ball-up method and you're screwed. So what I like to do is leave my units. This is strategy number one against Meteor Strike. Leave your units wide, all right? Even if you got enough DPS on your units, even if something gets taken out, they won't all get taken out like if they're balled up. And they can handle things like a massive ranged kiting. So the beauty of this is it won't take more than maybe one Meteor Strike drop to take out Freya. And if it takes you longer than that, you're probably more focused on your Titan than you are on your troops. So this is just more about someone who's utilizing troops. How can they deal with Meteor Strike? This is option one. Leave them widely displaced. And honestly, you'll notice in this battle, I don't even focus on dodging. I'm not really that concerned with it. Granted, you'll typically have some loss, unless you have a really high level, archers with really nice defensive busts, thus the Van Braces, and if you have a really nice medical school, which, I'm mid-level. I'm, castle level 16, so it's not that great. But as you can see, chipping away at Freya, she's not going to last too much longer. I'm keeping her right in the pocket with Grimwald. I'm making his stance wide as far as his direction so that the grenadiers are never touching him. So he's relatively untouched. I think he got nicked. And there you go, she's done. Now I dropped my own Meteor Strike, didn't have to. I like it on offense because it's just kind of fun to drop out there. But check it out. My troops, untouched. In fact, in this battle, was there even a Meteor Strike that dropped yet? Seems really long for the first spell to drop. There it is, boom, all right. Now, it's been long enough that Freya's down, I can dodge it. Even if Freya wasn't down, all I would do is I would just start pulling her to the right so that if I lost some DPS on the left, not the end of the world, I can still finish the map. Freya's the main bulk of this guy's defense, like most Freya defenses. It's gonna be fine even if I lost archers. And as you noticed, I didn't lose a single unit yet. That 16 got nicked. That was it. And it can survive thanks to my medical school. Alright, so then I'm just moving them up. What's the next spell that's going to come down? They had a Meteor Strike and they had Terror. So it's either one of the two. So check this out. Now, Terror, ironically, can be more annoying than Meteor Strike. Meteor Strike would be a problem if I was completely balled up, but I'm not. But if it caught that entire wave of archers and Terror, Grimwald's on his own. Now, he could have finished up on his own, but let's say it was worse than this. Let's say it was Goliaths or something. Luckily, Terror Spell is a little easier to dodge. All you gotta do is pull back, and if you get caught in Terror Spell, just pull your front line back so that when they get unterrified, your ranged units are ready to go right then, because that's how they work. And of course, melee units, as long as they're still within range of melee units, even if they're terrified, they'll still combat, which is interesting to me. I feel like they should lose the ability to fight if they're really spellbound, terrified. So there you go, that's option 1 for dealing with Meteor Strike spells, alright? And that's a phenomenal way to do it. Alright, now as you guys know, I like to give you guys shout outs because I'm not the only one who loves playing this game, obviously, right? And it's not like you guys aren't amazing yourselves. So I love spotlighting you guys, especially when you do cool stuff like this. The option number 2 for dealing with Meteor Strike is the spell dodge. And it's a little tougher now with Meteor Strike. It used to be really easy, but the method still is the same. I don't use it very much anymore because of that spread out formation. Typically works very well for me. But if you need to dodge because you're using, say, grenadiers, here is a great method for that. This came from player Tholes at Doom. Now, I don't know what that means. Literally the at symbol in there. Tholes at Doom. Great player who's having fun talking and chatting with me. But the guy had an awesome example of what it means to spell dodge by, it's almost like spell kiting, I suppose you could call it. Call it spell kiting, sure. And I used to use this quite a bit, especially when Meteor Strike first fell down. Alright, so here we go. Let's jump in here. So this is just more of an example video, and I like him doing it instead of me because I don't got time for that. No, because he did such a great job of it. I think he demonstrated, in fact, I didn't even do it this way. But as you know, there's intervals to the spells. Now that was a little weird interval in the first video, but there's intervals to when they're gonna drop. So he's anticipating that by putting his grenadiers in the back, and he's balled them up on purpose. Now watch this. He's using his own spells because his, you know, Snowgore is taking the battle on his own. He's gotta take out that Freya. But check this out, he knows the spell's coming, so now he's waxing, right? He's left-righting. Because what happens is the spell will drop in anticipation of your move if your unit that it's targeting is moving. So it was going left at the time because he was switching. So Meteor Strike fell to the left, giving even his grenadiers, the slowest units in the game, arguably, maybe Rags, dodged Meteor Strike handedly. Why? Why? Because he kited the spell. Fantastic, right? Here he goes again. He knows the next Meteor Strike's coming pretty soon, right? He's a little early. It's going to come pretty soon, though, so he's going wig-wag, left-right, left-right. Is that a good term for it, wig-wag? Left-right, boom, boom, boom. Here comes Meteor Strike. To the right. Now check this out. That wasn't very far. No momentum, right? It's always based on momentum. It's like anticipating the move, just like the targeting of the ranged units. Still escaped it handily. That's where the video ends. But there you go. That's option number 2 for dodging Meteor Strike. Takes a little bit more, command attention. But keep in mind, some of the best moves, like the kiting video with the Panther, takes a lot of commanding. And of course, it's easier on a bigger screen, like a tablet, instead of a small phone. Now, as we all know, that's not always the spells people are using. Sometimes people have their own unique method to running defense, or running their own unique defense structure, and it's usually based on some overpowered gameplay. Typically these days it's pikemen. So I want to give you an example of an 800,000 defense, which typically would scare most people off, and of course these days it typically is pikemen. So here you go, you got pikemen level 21 with all shield defensive spells, and it's Coria with maxed out 4 skills. Okay, so she's a maxed out Coria, which is ironic. Used to be a hated individual. She's a great character. She's a great Titan if you use her right. So I'm throwing in Meteor Strikes just in case I want to fillet them. Honestly, I love dropping those. One of my favorite things to do is to drop 5 Meteor Strikes in a row. You guys want to see that? It's the best form of fireball ever because it does have 100% coverage with 5 in a row. Alright, so here we go. Same kind of formation. You'll notice I have kind of the same motif. I keep my formation wide. Why? Because no matter what, the DPS it spreads out better that way, and I don't need everything shooting at one thing at the time. In fact, I want them to shoot at different targets. I don't know if you've noticed this, but lately the AI and the archers have been, at least since I use them more, has been more exposed to me, and they can get really, really dumb when you start balling them up. They start shooting at the same target. Sometimes they get too close. Sometimes their range disperses to different, it's very strange. But here, as you can see, Coria is already down, and now we have 800,000 strength and pikemen coming down the pike line, okay? So what could happen here? Well, the pikemen could have enough defense and HP that I can't take them out before they touch my line. That's why I like 2 waves of defense, which is very typical for real warfare tactics, right? 2 lines of archers. Now you'll notice I'm taking flak. Look at that. Now, if I wanted to, if my Grimwald wasn't having problems here, I could just rearrange my troops to set back up that front line. But I'm not concerned right now because I do want the sill wide range so I can pull pikemen left and right with Grimwald, left and right, to make sure that they don't touch the front line of archers. Because as you guys know, with that Coria buff, all attack, they would melt my archers upon contact. Now, that looks pretty scary. Look at that. My Meteor Strike's barely dinging them. They get close to my archers. I draw them right. Not even a problem. In fact, I probably don't even need to be kiting at this point. Yeah, nope. Don't need to be kiting. That was 4 units gone in a heartbeat. So now it's just about finishing the map. We got 4 units left, I believe. Boom. Boom, and there you go. Grimwald's still alive. And, you know, honestly, I'm not too gung-ho on those shield spells. You'll notice they did basically jack nothing. And in fact, considering the defense of the pikemen even without their buff, they have more defense than that shield like 10 times over. So if they put the shield up, it would melt just as quickly. It wouldn't really change the DPS the archers is dealing to them. So if you have a defense or an attack version like this, the defense shield isn't really that big of a deal for me. And the only real solution to that particular thing is to have enough DPS to overcome the shield spell that's being used. So that's an easy one, right? That's an easy one. We can go past that one, that's easy. Now I want to show you guys the Pinnacle, my favorite battle, all right? Because this one was fantastic. Another high-end, you know, high-powered battle. So here we have a castle with 650,000 defense from archers and Freya. So different. Now, level 24 archers with Meteor Strike level 20 on defense. And did you see the relics? Buffed archers level 24. So we're fighting literally fire with fire. Okay, it's literally arrows with arrows. But we're fighting the same tactic with the same tactic. And again, Meteor Strike and Terror, the most annoying spells to come across when you're attacking. The best defensive spells to use hands down currently. Unless you have a specific strategy like the shield thing. That didn't work very well for him, did it? Now check this out. I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to balance out the defense with the offensive, but the shield spell is just so weak. Alright, check this out. Boom. Alright, they've got a pretty wide lineup. They've got fast attack on the left with the Panthers, and they've got the Frey over on the right there, which sucks. So I'm going to do something unique. I'm going to take Grimwald and I'm going to use him as my reserve kite, and I'm going to use the Panther as the primary kite. Why? The Panther is far more agile than Grimwald, even though I think they have very similar speed stats in the game. He actually physically moves on screen faster and pivots faster than Grimwald, so we're going to use him. Now, the main thing here is I cannot let those high-level 25 Panthers touch mine, because he'll die. And at the same time, I can't let these pikemen touch my archers. They'll die. Now, the nice thing is, Freya's a lightweight. Might have been an issue if she wasn't. Didn't have to kite her at all. But luckily for me, in this map, dealing with the archers, kind of tough. And look at that, Meteor Strike on point. Just thrashing my archers. I was trying to dodge for a second, but you know what? There's no time. These guys are going to take out the Panther in a heartbeat. I have to use that obstacle to my advantage. So boom, here we go. We start whittling down. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but there is a bit of an issue on offense and defense with ranged units. And that's, you saw that in the first video. When they fire, if their target moves out of range, and especially with obstacles, they just get screwed. They have to figure out what they're doing. Got a little lucky in that one, by the way. The fact that this left side horde of archers didn't get absolutely hammered by that Meteor Strike spell. But that's the give and take of the Meteor Strike spell. Sometimes it's very painful, multiple fireballs right where it needs to go, and sometimes it misses entirely. Doesn't change the fact that these archers are formidable if they get one shot off. And it's kind of tough because now they're trying to circumvent to the left. So check this out right here. Boom, they took the pot shot. They got lucky. They nailed the Panther. You might think it's over, and honestly, these level 15s still can't hash up, except I had a freeze spell. Could have terrored them too. And there you go. Took down a 650,000 power archer defense. Didn't even have to use Grimwald. He never even made it to the fight. I tried to get him in there. But there you go, bam! And that's the way you deal with a high-level Meteor Strike, high-level archer defense, terror spell, and really any other spell. If people are using things like poison and lightning, those kind of stand to reason. You just dodge them. Poison spell you can't set and they'll destroy the unit. Unless you have a really large gap in the level of spell in your troops. But you know, it's just a simple dodge. But everything else is not as complicated as those spells, Terror and Meteor Strike. And there you guys have it. Those are the methods to dodge it. You either have to kite the spell, dodge the spell, or fan out with enough DPS spread around that you're cool, right? You're good to go, even if you get nailed by Meteor Strike. All right, guys, I hope that answers your questions on how to deal with defensive spells, how to go about doing with offensive spells, and of course the continuing questions on how to use archers. Hope I've convinced you by now that archers are pretty badass. I get the grenadier thing, but archers are awesome. Now, the other question has been on offensive spells, and I'm curious because other people have had other questions too. But do you guys want me to go into how to use offensive spells? I'm kind of demonstrating how to use them, but I haven't shown any amazing tricks because I usually don't have to use those too often. But there was a couple videos where I showed that a really decent use of terror spells, which can be used when there's a select aspect of the strategy defensively that's had trouble for you. And then of course, freeze has its own mentality. It's pretty obvious. And Meteor Strike is just the splash damage, right? But you guys let me know if you want to hear that. I'm happy making that video for you guys and throwing out there the best that I know. Alright guys, now don't forget on the 15th, stay tuned for that awesome update video, and I will fill you guys in on everything I know. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time on Dawn of Titans with DVR.